You know, when you think of Shakespeare's Macbeth, your mind probably jumps straight to Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, right? The doomed couple. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a character who's often just a footnote, but who I'd argue holds the key to the entire play's meaning. We're talking about Banquo's young son, Fleance. So let's just dive right in with a huge question. In a play that is absolutely soaked in paranoia, betrayal, and, let's be honest, a ton of bloodshed, where on earth do you find a single glimmer of hope? Well, it turns out the answer is hiding in plain sight. It's in a young boy who somehow, against all odds, survives. Let's get into it. Okay, so to really get why Fleance is so important, we have to start by seeing the world through his eyes, before it all comes crashing down. We're starting with his innocence and that really powerful bond he has with his father, Banquo. Now, the thing about Fleance and his dad, Banquo, their relationship isn't about power or prophecies or any of that heavy stuff. No, it's just gentle. It's warm. It's built on pure trust. Banquo isn't just raising a future nobleman. He's protecting his kid, and you can feel that warmth in every single one of their scenes together. And this right here, this really nails Fleance's whole mindset. Yeah, the witches have dropped this massive prophecy that his kids will be kings, but he has no clue. He's not thinking about power. He's not scheming about destiny. He's just a boy who completely trusts his dad. It's this beautiful, pure innocence, and it's absolutely the calm before the storm. But, of course, that world of trust and safety, it's about to be completely shattered. One single, terrifying event is coming, and it's the moment Fleance's life changes forever. So we can actually frame what's about to happen with this idea, a psychological turning point. And for Fleance, the ambush in the dark is exactly that. It isn't just some random attack. It is the brutal, violent end of his childhood. I mean, in a matter of seconds, he goes from being an innocent kid to being in a desperate fight for his own life. I mean, try to put yourself in his shoes for a second. First, there's just that creeping feeling, that sense that something's not right. Then, bam! Sudden violent betrayal. Assassins are attacking his father right in front of him. And in all that chaos, he hears Banquo's final desperate command, "Fly, good Fleance, fly, fly, fly." And just like that, he's alone, running for his life into the pitch-black night, his entire world just gone. And you know what? This is a profoundly relatable experience, isn't it? I mean, hopefully nothing that dramatic, but a lot of us have had a moment where childhood just stops, where the world forces you to grow up way too fast, and that innocence gets replaced by a much harsher reality. That is the absolute core of Fleance's trauma. So after he escapes, Fleance's entire role in the play completely transforms. He's not just a kid anymore. He becomes this living, breathing symbol of everything Macbeth can't control. He becomes the seed of hope. This comparison here just lays it all out so perfectly. On one side, you have Macbeth, tyranny, paranoia, a total dead end built on murder. And on the other, you have Fleance. His very survival is an act of resilience. Macbeth is tearing his hair out over the witch's prophecy, and Fleance is that prophecy, walking around, breathing. So here's the bottom line. As long as Fleance is out there, somewhere, there's still a chance for a different future for Scotland. So what does he really stand for at this point? Well, he's a symbol of survival against all odds. He's that nagging, uncomfortable truth for Macbeth. You just can't kill a prophecy. He's resilience after unimaginable trauma. And maybe most importantly, he embodies this quiet, stubborn, enduring hope. And really, that's the big universal theme that Fleance's survival just screams out from the shadows of this play. That even in the absolute darkest moments, something pure, something innocent can endure. It got away, and it's still out there. But then, poof, Fleance is gone. He just vanishes from the story. And his absence is every bit as meaningful as his presence was. It leaves his future and Scotland's future totally, deliberately up in the air. Now, you have to think about this as a creative choice. It's not just Shakespeare being mysterious, it's a seriously brilliant political move. See, when Shakespeare wrote Macbeth, the King of England was James I, who was also James VI of Scotland. And according to the stories back then, King James was a direct descendant of the real historical Banquo. So by having Fleance escape, Shakespeare is basically giving a little wink and a nod to his boss, the king. He's subtly validating his patron's right to rule. So Fleance surviving isn't just hope for the characters in the play, it was a shout out to the very real king sitting right there in the audience. So on the surface, the play leaves us with these huge questions, right? Is the prophecy going to come true? Is Fleance ever coming back? But here's the thing. For Shakespeare's original audience, the answer was literally sitting on the throne. They knew Banquo's line would rule. So the real ambiguity isn't about if the prophecy gets fulfilled. It's about how. How does hope manage to survive all that darkness to finally reach its destiny?
So when you boil it all down, Fleance is delivering this incredible two-layered message. Inside the story, he's the quiet promise that hope can stick it out, just waiting in the shadows for the right moment. But historically, he's a validation of the king's power, a reminder that destiny, at least as they saw it, will always find a way. He represents both a literary hope and a very real political reality.
And that leaves us with one last fascinating thought to chew on. When a story leaves a big question unanswered, is that a sign of despair, or is it the ultimate act of hope? In the case of Fleance, Shakespeare kind of does both, doesn't he? He leaves the how totally uncertain for his characters, creating that dramatic tension. But at the same time, he's reminding his own king that the what, the fulfillment of that prophecy, was already a done deal. It was already history.